Good morning this morning. How's everyone doing this morning? Ladies, gentlemen, everyone in between. My name is Joseph, and we are freaking live on a Saturday morning. What is good, everybody? My name is Joseph, and like I said, we are live on a Saturday morning. This is gonna be a test stream, and by that I mean, okay, it's looking like Thursday nights are not going to be a thing. I don't know if there's just too much network congestion at the time that I'm going to be able to be on to allow me to stream. I'm guessing. I'm spitballing. I have no freaking clue. All I know is the last 2 Thursdays have not worked. So, you know, I'm not a math genius or anything like that, but I start to notice a common denominator there. Thursdays. Guess it's just not gonna be a thing. So, Tuesday nights seem to work. So we can continue trying it on Tuesday nights, and then hell, who knows? Maybe Saturday mornings become a thing. Obviously, there are times where coming up. This is often the off in a few months away, where there's going to be times that I simply won't be able to do Saturday mornings. Whether it's because for those of you who don't know, I'm a public address announcer, so I do high school football, I do high school basketball, I do youth football, I do semi-pro football. Um, and then sometimes they'll call me for tournaments and other stuff. And hey, we need an announcer. We need somebody to do, our championships or whatever. We want to have the big game feel to it. So I'm like, okay, yeah, cool. Sure. When are we doing it? Okay, well, Saturday morning at. All right, cool. Means I got to freaking crash out early on Friday night. But hey, the main thing about that, I'm like, how much you pay though? How much it paid though? Used to be a professional wrestling ring announcer. I don't see a future in which that will be a thing again. Um, Not unless I either come up on lots of money, or I hit which I guess this would technically be the same thing. I hit a lotto, and I'm able to work, I guess you'd say, on my physical appearance. Not that I'm not trying to, but there's only so much. There's only so much you can do with this, guys. All right, some of us fucking ugly out. That's just the truth. Okay, that's just a fact. As L.A. Knight would say, L.A. Knight, yeah, would say, as he would say, that's not an insult. That is just a fact of life. Shout out to L.A. Knight. I've known him by like 3 different names, so it's like Eli Drake, Sean Ricker. I've known him like I've I've worked with this guy, and he's freaking amazing. By the way, he's a freaking amazing talent. He's a pretty damn cool person, actually. So, and I'm sure a lot of you fans, you watch WWE, you get that. If you don't, you're like, who the fuck is this guy talking about? All right. So we're gonna try to do something right now. If I can get my damn shirt fixed. By the way, Bears football. This is the high school team that I PA announced for. It's also a shirt that goes with my ball cap, so I can. I have a Waluigi ball cap. I have a Waluigi version that I'm just waiting on, and that will match more with the purple and everything that I'm rocking on stream. Purple's my favorite color. Just if you don't like it, fucking bite me. Um, I don't care. I don't give a fuck. What I do care about is the fact that this stream actually stays fucking stable, and we're actually to play game. We tried doing this the other night, and the shit just wouldn't fucking work. And like nothing I would do, there was nothing I could do. Everything from fucking network issues to fucking like rendering issues. I'm like, bro, I got a fucking RTX card. I got a fucking like this. I'm like, there were issues I was having that shouldn't be fucking issues. I have no fucking clue what the cause was. All I know is we're not having them right now, and you know, fingers crossed that that stays that way, because I want to play some game. You want to play game? We play game. I did get rid of that really busy transition. I know that was causing some issues, and I'm like, I honestly don't know if I like it. You know, if even the person who's streaming doesn't like, I don't want to say I don't like the transition. I don't like the transition for my stream. It's a little much, you know, it's a little busy. So I'm just like, let's just fade into the next one. You know, it's much simpler that way. So much simpler that way. So let's oh, okay. All right then. Okay, let's go. Right now, I do have, I have this tournament where I was doing my friend Rotten Poppy. She was having a 4-year partnerversary stream. So we were doing, as you say, boop. This is our tournament though. Oldhead's X. The X was actually an accidental entry. If you want to join in, first, you know, let me know. Like, come into our chat and let me know that hey, hey asshole, we want to play too. And then that will be the code 1890-1713-3611. So see, I can join right now, and the problem is as I join right now, yeah. The problem is this is I'm by my goddamn self. So I will invite people to join if you want to. If you want a game, you know, we can do that. Not competitive, you know, it's fun. It's a fucking test stream. It's to make sure, hey, is this shit even gonna work right? Right? Because that's important. I feel maybe you got a different opinion. I feel it's important that your stream actually fucking works before you try to game on it. But so yeah, so that tournament will be available, but I'm not gonna like just sit here in the fucking lobby and just sit here on stream in the lobby by my goddamn self in the lobby. So I'm gonna leave it right now and just play some fucking randoms. And yeah, like I said, I'll have that tournament available. So if anybody wants to come in and do this shit, and you know, if not, look, I get it. It's Saturday morning. Some of y'all motherfuckers ain't asleep yet. Fuck. Hey, actually, nah, nah, I didn't fuck up. That's true. Some of y'all ain't asleep yet. Some of y'all been up since last night. Fucking crackhead motherfucker. I'm kidding. I'm joking. I work overnights, so like it's, what is it, almost 10 o'clock right now? So that would be normal for me actually on weekdays. That would be normal for me on the weekdays. I would be up all night, and then, you know, if I go like my friend Rotten Poppy, I'd go to her stream and check out her stream, or a couple other friends, or of course Jimmy Ray. You know, if he's streaming in the morning or whatever, whoever, wherever, you know, because you know a lot of people are streaming, of course, from the East Coast, and then that's 3 hours. It's like, oh, it's fucking afternoon here. Good for you, buddy. Of course, other people streaming around the damn world. I got streamer friends in Australia and all that. So, So yeah, if like I said, if you want to get in on it, let me know, and then we can go back over to here. We can go back over to here again. This is the code 1890-1713-3611. 1890-1713-3611. I click join. I click yes because we want to join. We want to join. And the tournament. What? Fuck you mean tournament is now? Fuck you mean tournament is now closed? You want to change settings for the fuck yes? What do you mean? Fuck you mean? Fuck you mean? Oh shit. Okay. Yo. We'll go. Okay. We'll say 3 p.m. I didn't even realize. Yeah, the shit is 4:30. No shit. Okay. One reason people might not be, one reason you might have people not joining your tournament is you have it set to fucking close. I had that set with the understanding that I would be streaming later on in the evening, right? Fucking no wonder, right? But yeah. So, I will come back to that when... I will come back to that when it is more available, so we'll put up my regular banner here for right now. I do have the code in the description also, and play some regionals right now. Like I said, this is a test stream. This is, you know, is this a thing that's going to work? Is this a thing that's going to be a thing that's going to do the thing when you do the thing with the thing? So, you know, we're gonna have to watch this one. They're currently in race. That's fine. One thing I do have is my cola. It's like it's screaming and drink cola. Yippee! But again, I do not have Cola Coca. I have zero Pepsi. This is Haven, by the way. They're in 9th. Sam is in 10th. Karen is in 4th. Now she's in 3rd now. Now she's in 4th. Dill? Battling Karen, huh? It be like that sometimes, you know? Sometimes it bees like that sometimes, you know? Matt. T-Star. Hi. 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 Hiya. Alright. This means we can join now. We can join now? Okay, so Rainbow Road is one of those courses that, like, if that's an option, I'm going to choose it. This is Matt's last game. All right. Well, this is my first game, so okay. You know, well, I will try. I will try to carry the torch. Carry the banner of the great. All right. You could have stopped on mine. You didn't have to do that. I knocked my lighting and everything all over here. Cable management here's a freaking nightmare. I was adjusting fucking wires. Into orbit, baby. Be bad. I thought that was the last lap. I don't know why. Into orbit. So, let me see here. All right, Excite Bike! Excite Bike! Excite! How are you guys doing? Hope everybody's having a great Saturday morning or whatever time zone it is. It's just after 10 a.m. here Bakersfield, California. Shout out to shout out to DJ Danny P. Was at his stream last night. Flashback Fridays. Always a fun time. All right. Come. Well, shit. Asshole! Ah! Wah! Ah! Well, shit. Ah! Wah! Still be bad. So I'm gonna leave this group real quick. Check in on it, you know, if anybody want to join in the old heads. 1891-713-3611. That is 1891-713-3611. Rainbow Roads, if so that'll be the tournament. If anybody wants to get in on it, let me know, and we'll do this. We'll do this. So spectating here at the moment, light blue Yoshis, 2 of them, in fact. Also, shouts out real quick to a couple of my streamer friends here, Bullet Bonnie, Bulbasaur, It Me Baby, Vampix also. Of course, the one and only Beer Good. And obviously somebody that you definitely want to check out, The Jimmy Ray Show here on Twitch. Join their Discord, Raytopia. A lot of cool people on there. I'm in there. I do have my own Discord, but I'll be brutally honest, there's nothing really going on there. Just calling it as it is. See, I'm still building. My boy Jimmy Ray, he's built. He has that community. So be sure to check him out. That's a good thing also about Discord. You're not limited to being in one community. You know, you could be a Raytopian. You could be a Westie. House of the West, that is. You could be a good egg. Rotten Poppy's good eggs. If you want to join the Black Leather Crew Discord, that's a thing you could do also. If you want, should be a link down below. I don't have a bot yet. That's something I'll be working on also, actually setting up I used to have one, but I didn't really have it configured. So, and now I kind of forgot. I want to say it was with Stream Elements. I'm wanting to say that, but I don't know. So I will be setting one up though. But like I said, if you want to check out the Discord, we do have a social link down below. Five of us, all right. So as long as I finish in the top 5. Alright. Fourth of four. So, I'll be leaving this group once again. If you want to join me and kick my ass at Mario Kart, 1890-1713-3611. That is 1890-1713-3611. Once again, for the time being, though, I am going to join and play some regional randoms. Let's go! Do this. Alright, some ducky stuff. Shucky ducky quack quack. So let's see. I'm actually just gonna take the I'll take the code out of the description. I'm still open to play with viewers if you know if you guys want to, but you know what? I'm cool playing with regional randoms too. Like I'm down for whatever. Down for whatever. Let's go. Okay, let's go. Let's do this. All right. Rosalina's Ice World from 3DS. Again, I've probably played a 3DS. Yeah, you can count on one hand how many times I've ever played a 3DS. So. Damn it. All right, we got to gain some ground, guys. We got to gain some ground. We got to get some ground. Oh, what the hell? So I was trying to dive off into there's that little shortcut right there. I was trying to dive off into it, and it just wouldn't go. Okay. No shortcut for you. Twisted Mansion, Koopa Cave. Try to Twisted Mansion. Let's try that. Now, again, that being said, I am still open to playing with viewers, so I do have a tournament set up that is 1890 1713 3611. Just, again, it's just random. It's not, when I say a tournament, it's what it's called on here. It's not an actual, the thing's keeping score, but, like, so what, you know? Like, it's just us gaming and having fun, guys. That's all it is. That's all it should be. That's okay. We'll do Ninja Hideout. We'll hide out the ninjas. The Ninja Hideout. Wah! Shout out to Brewhide. Finishing it. Just ahead of Sassoon. How is everybody this morning? Or whatever time zone you may be in. I know obviously if you're on the East Coast or somewhere else in the world entirely, that it's probably not morning for you. Or it might be extremely early in the morning for you. Or if you're watching on a VOD and it's whatever the hell time for you. Anybody that's watching this anywhere, anytime, anyway, anyhow, thank you for doing so. I appreciate you. You're freaking awesome. You could be doing anything in the damn world, and you're watching this. So you are freaking awesome. I don't care what anybody says about you. One thing I always say about people who are dealing with haters, the simple fact that you have haters means that you're successful. It means you're doing something. It means you're doing something they wish they were doing. So embrace your haters. Their existence validates what you're doing. But why though? And before anybody says that I would do the exact same damn thing, you goddamn right. You'd do the exact same damn thing in their position. You goddamn right I would. It be like that sometimes. Rainbow Road. It be like that, you know? It bees like that. Hope everybody out there is having a great day as this person is using tilt controls. Go you. I'm docked, so that's not an option. I'm using a pro controller and playing like an amateur. Well, because I am. I am an amateur. Ain't no shame in playing like an amateur when you an amateur, right? What are you, some kind of amateur? Yes. Get ahead of Junior there. Well, damn. JT. Excuse me. JT, but it's not even the brick. Damn. just like that. There was no saving it. Sometimes it be like that. Daisy Cruiser. The Daisy Cutter? Nah, it's Daisy Cruiser. What is a Daisy Cutter? A Daisy Cutter is a soldier or an army that can greatly overwhelm the other side but the other side's like they're just peaceful. They're peaceful. There's no reason to attack them other than you fucking can. You're fucking Daisy Cutters, bro. Like, do you think about it? How dangerous are daisies, right? What threat? What possible threat could daisies be to you? Now, I mean, to be fair, are some people allergic? Yeah, maybe. That's fair. Fuck off, Bowser. Fuck off, Boozer. Boozer. Fuck off, Boozer. Boozer. Ha, sucker, you missed. That laser didn't, though. Fuck off, bitch. Fuck off, bitch. Are you normally this mean? Nah. I'm usually much worse than this. Just like that, 4th to 8th. A lot of these really, really good players waiting to the very end there. Los Angeles laps. Again, Santa Monica, downtown LA, LA Live area. They do go into the oil fields. I was kind of surprised that they even acknowledged the oil fields. They do go into that area. I'm like, but they're not about to drive down the freeway, drive down the 210, take the Slauson Avenue exit, and they're not doing that. I've done that many times. I'll probably do that many more times. Head on down to Crenshaw, and you're not doing that in Los Angeles laps. Inglewood, right? Rolling down Manchester. LAX, the Forum. What's the new one? The Intuit Dome? The Clippers? Yeah, I said that right. The Clippers. I said it correctly. Fucking Clippers. I do want to see that show. I've seen bits and pieces of that show clip. I do want to see. I do want to see more of that though. How much of a shit show the Clippers actually were. They are a far better organization now, to be fair to them. But the problem with Clipper fans, first off, the existence of Clipper fans. That's fucking hilarious. Like, don't get me wrong, back in the day, if you couldn't afford Laker tickets, and who the fuck can afford Laker tickets, going to a Clipper game to watch discount NBA basketball, totally valid. Especially if they're playing the Lakers. The Lakers are, technically the road team, but it's just a way to see the Lakers on the cheap. Or if they're playing the Bulls and you want to see Michael Jordan on the cheap. Totally valid. I get it. I understand. But, like, people are going to Clipper games to watch the other team. Well, nobody going to watch the fucking Clippers. Like, you cheer them on if they won, of course. Like, yeah, like, oh, fuck yeah, okay. But, like, fucking Junior Bridgman, fucking Danny Manning. Dominique Wilkins even played a season for the Clippers. Doc Rivers played a season or two before, years before he was a coach. So while we are on the subject of waiting for everyone to suggest a course, check a couple things here real quick, because I might go back to the Wiggler cart after this. But so far, I would call this a successful test. I don't think Thursday nights are a thing that's going to. I don't think Thursday's going to work. At least not Thursday nights. Right dead ass in front of me. Right dead ass in front of me, not like I couldn't see him or anything. Just. Get wrecked. If I use my own mushrooms, I'd rather use yours. I don't have any mushrooms at the moment. That's... Ah! Bro! That's game. That's game right there. Yeah, that's it. That's it. That's all. There ain't no more. We gonna finish dead ass last, bro. Maybe not. Maybe not. We jumped in front of two. Jumped in front of two. Jumped in front of one. I thought there was 12. Okay. I jumped in front of one. I was like, motherfucker, when are you going to finish first? I don't know. I don't know, okay? I don't know. I don't know. You know? But yeah, I'm thinking Saturday mornings might become a thing. Still gonna try to be Tuesday nights 6-ish p.m. A couple of Mortys there. I can't do. I would need Jimmy Ray here to do the Rick and Morty voice. I can't. I could probably hit the voice, but it's the mannerisms. Dove right straight down, bro. Hell, I didn't even know these areas were down here. Okay, I gotta change back to the Wiggler though. I gotta change back to the Wiggler here real quick. There we go. Why Luigi Pinball? Wah! Yo, I'll get you next time. You probably won't, though. To be fair. Why Luigi Pinball? XP, gold, and rig. Yahweh! Oh shit. That was just disastrous. Good thing I avoided that. All right. Well, kind of wish I'd have got that mushroom, though. I suck at Mario Kart and drink cola. Yippee! I'm not a huge fan of any of those available choices, actually, so... Okay. You know, shit. Perfectly timed. Perfectly timed. Credit where it is due. That was good shit. One thing I do want to say is, if anybody's got anything in their little mind to mention about how bad I play this game, it does say Oldhead plays games poorly. Truth in advertising. I like 99% of people don't give a fuck. And regardless of your opinion of my gameplay, the fact that you are here watching, if you're watching live, if you're watching on a VOD, if you're watching on a YouTube upload, if you're watching right now, if you're watching later, if you're watching wherever the hell you're watching from and however the hell you're watching, I appreciate you. Just want to say that. I don't know if I say that enough. I know I say it, but I don't know if I say it enough. That I appreciate you. I appreciate. Yeah, there we go. That's now we're talking. Now we're talking. Rosalita's. Oh, my bad. That's not the one I thought. That's still better than the options that were available. I thought it was a Rainbow Road. My bad. Oh, my bad. What the hell happened there? Jason Lee. That just ended all kinds of poorly. Tries to do it just because I can. Yes, please. Oldhead plays games poorly. It's in the title. It is in the title. Play poorly on a Saturday morning. We'll try this one. Oh, you know what? No, I should have chosen the Wario. Wah! Wow. EDM Tim. I don't, for some reason, I read that as Edmonton. I don't know. Yo. As bad as that went, and it did, it could have went so much worse. Still finishing last. Guys, I think I'm garbage at this game. Am I going to keep playing it? Fuck yeah, I'm going to keep playing it. Fuck yeah, I'm going to keep playing it. Good luck to you as well. Juan Angel. I need all the luck I can get. I'm not even finishing in the top half. But course has been selected, and it's a course nobody chose. Because it's a... Oh, it's a Waluigi Stadium. It's okay. Best choice, honestly. Wah! It had been decided long. So I guess my thing is, if it had already been decided like that, once the second to last guy goes across, shouldn't that just be it? Baby Park. Right? Like, once it is determined that you are the dead-ass last guy, the second to last guy crosses that line, they should just end it right there. They should be like, hey, results are in. Good game. Thank you, Juan Kayla. And XP Gold. Good game also for you guys. Five, four, three, two, one. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's not Baby Park. Shout out to the commish watching you on my stream. Hey, shouts Jimmy Ray Show watching me on his stream. Be sure to check out the Jimmy Ray Show on twitch.tv/the Jimmy Ray Show. One of my longtime IRL friends. And he is using his he's using his stream to watch my stream. Which is pretty dope, actually. That means all the citizens of Raytopia are watching me suck ass at Mario Kart. Well, I appreciate all you anyway. Be sure to if you follow, and when I say if, of course you're going to follow the Jimmy Ray Show. Right? Right? You're gonna do that, right? And be sure... what was I saying? Okay. You're gonna follow the Jimmy Ray Show. Be sure to join the Discord. Become a Raytopian. Join the Discord. Follow the other citizens of Raytopia. I follow many of them. Many of them I do still need to follow myself. And try to catch them when I can. As I try to tell everybody I follow, anybody I watch on stream, I'm honestly more of a lurker. Like, I'll participate like a little bit, but I am generally more of a lurker than I'm one of those views. One of them dare views. Finished it. I didn't finish last this time. Tom cruising. Nice. I didn't finish dead ass last this time. Super appreciate that, dude. I appreciate you. All right, this is a what is that called? Mutual Admiration Society thing, something like that. All out here singing Kumbaya and shit. Nah, but like, I appreciate you. All the help you've given me in trying to actually set this damn thing up. Tom Cruise it. Is that like Ted like Ted Danson? Like Ted Danson. I can't dance. I can't. Doesn't mean I won't try. It just means I, you know. Yo! Rika Love Sims, thank you for the follow. Got a new follower, thank you. How are you doing? Come to watch me suck at this game? I appreciate you. Happy to support. Happy to have you here. Are you a streamer yourself, or do you just view? Nothing against you. I mean, I want to make sure if you do stream, if you also stream yourself, then or are planning to in the near future, I want to, you know, I want to return the favor. You're a streamer, awesome. I will return the favor. Alright, jumped ahead of him. Alright. Damn it. Might seem like a waste to hit both, but I need to pick up ground. I don't need to get hit with somebody else's objects either. I need to pick up ground. Ha! Jumped up to 7th. All right. The shout out given to Rebecca Love Sims. A shout out, and give me a second here. Can it not? There we go. And a follow back. A return to follow. Thank you for following. Thank you for checking us out here. I don't like any of these options, so random. Just call us 7. Thank you for the follow. How are you? Thank you for coming in. I'm gonna go kill some clowns. Keep it. All right. All right. Have fun. Have fun killing clowns and those words I never thought I would ever say. And keep it real. Yes. Yeah. Jess. She is an original Raytopian as well. Hell yeah. Glad. All Raytopians are welcome into Black Leather Crew, and yeah, Jimmy Ray has been IRL fan. The fuck? IRL friend. He might be an IRL fan too. I don't know. An IRL friend for a long time now. Glad to have him, and if you are a friend of Jimmy Ray, then pretty good opportunity, pretty good chance, pretty good. There's a word I wanted to say there, and I totally fucked the line up. What I meant to say was, before I botched the gimmick, pretty good chance. If you're a friend of his, a pretty good chance we can be friends as well. Jimmy's your bestie? Hell yeah. Jimmy has done a significant amount to help with this stream, even making this stream feasible. I have gotten both tech support, which has really been my main issue, and I am not computer illiterate. In fact, I have a certificate in network systems administration, so like I know a little bit. But he knows a hell of a lot more than I do. And particularly how it pertains to streams. So streams and OBS and BS and yeah, I could promise you, if not for Jimmy Ray, I would not be streaming right now. If not for Jimmy Ray, I would not be streaming right now. Believe it or not, I was actually a streamer before Jimmy Ray. So, this particular channel, this was the Vendetta Pro Wrestling Twitch account back in the day. Twitch worked a bit differently back then, though, than it does now. So, so it will say that I have a lot of followers. A lot of those followers are long time followers that were following back when Vendetta Pro Wrestling was still a thing. The reason I basically took the account for myself was the fact that I was running this shit anyway. Basically, virtually anything to do with online stuff in Vendetta Pro Wrestling, I was running. Now, that's not to say that I ran it by myself. You did have guys like Jimmy Ray. You did have, I'm not going to mention this person's name on my stream. But he did do a lot of work when he was among us. I'm not going to mention his name for multiple reasons. Number one, fuck him. And so, a lot of the times when I would be streaming, and I still do on occasion, not really so much on Twitch anymore, but I would stream marathon streams of Vendetta Pro Wrestling TV, Lucha Pro TV, which was kind of a spin-off. It was one of those things where toward the end of Vendetta Pro Wrestling, frankly, I was at Lucha Pro more than I was at Vendetta Pro. It wasn't really so much by choice, so much as it was that Vendetta Pro Wrestling kind of wasn't an option. So we just kind of spun off Lucha Pro TV into being its own thing, because as I horribly mismanaged that. But yeah, thank you everybody. And like I say, whether you're watching live, whether you're watching on VOD, whether you're watching, I'll probably upload this to YouTube. I know watching a full stream on YouTube is not always the most engaging content. I understand that. It's just right now I'm in a position where the VODs on Twitch are only available for a limited time, whereas on YouTube, at least, they're available more or less in perpetuity. But whenever, wherever, however, and why ever you're watching, I appreciate you. I think, yeah, I jumped ahead of one person. So I didn't finish dead last, so that's... But, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Jess, Rika, anybody who's just chilling, lurking, you know what? That's fine. I appreciate you. And that will go, you know, if, when, and however, you know, once I actually get affiliate status, I will still appreciate my lurkers. So I just want to make that clear. I don't just appreciate you because, oh, cool, you're helping get my numbers up. Nah. I must disembark now. Thank you for the kind words. Have a great stream and great day just in general, Jimmy. So, absolutely, thank you for everything. I'll probably be raiding out to you probably not too long. I'm going to play this for a little bit, though. I'm not going away, like, right now. But when I'm done, whether it be in a few minutes or an hour or whatever, forgot to tell him how the last time the wrestling world saw us, sort of hit you in the balls with a barbed wire. Barbed wire, yeah. I got Lucille'd. I got Lucille, but I didn't get Lucille'd over the head. I got low blowed with the Lucille. You know, in the character I was playing at the time, I had that coming. And to be fair, Jimmy, that is not the last time. I'm sorry, I just botched the shit out of that. That is not the last time we interacted. Because if you remember, I was at the first couple of Pro Wrestling Unplugged shows. I was the original ring announcer for Pro Wrestling Unplugged. So I can tell you the Santa Maria screw chop. It was... It was a heel getting their comeuppance, even if it was from another heel. In character, I totally had that coming. I totally deserved it. At some point, At some point, I will go into full detail on the conglomerate, what we had planned, and what actually ended up transpiring. What happened was never the plan. And yeah, there is, you know, there are details of it that was outside of our control. What's his name? Billy Corgan buying the NWA. You turned on. I turned on my talent. Your talent turned on you, and he and I walked into the sunset together. Well, see, the best part of that is that ended up being the final thing that happened in Vendetta Pro Wrestling, and not only did I get my comeuppance, it was not at all the way I had planned. Nothing on the second half of the conglomerate angle was what I had planned. It was out of my hands at that point. It was taken out of my hands by our third show when we kind of our promoter jumped us straight to the fucking end before I had any time to build up the end. Like, it was us against like five random baby faces that, like, they had no real reason at that point. They had no real reason to be against us at that point. Like, other than the fact that we were heels and they were baby faces. Outside of that, there was no reason for that particular group of people. Also, got another follow. Old Man Lindens. Hey, thank you for the follow. Thank you for the follow. That's one. That is one. I botched that. That is one I will mark out for. How are you doing? Thank you for the follow. Thank you for coming by. Let's go. Absolutely, Raytopia into his house. Oh, I walked right into that. So for anybody who's just come in, my name's Joseph. You could probably figure that out on your own. Variety streamer. I know I've been playing Super Mario Kart the last couple of streams, and frankly I've been getting my best numbers ever playing Mario Kart. So I might become a Mario Kart streamer, even though I'm not great at the game. Even though I'm not super fantastic at the game, it has resulted in my best numbers ever. So, you know, you go with what works, right? Of course it switches right then. Ah! Wah! Yeah. Yeah, so like I said, my name is Joseph, variety streamer, coming to you from Bakersfield, California, former professional wrestling announcer and personality, promoter, and other such gimmicks. Most people in the professional wrestling world know me as a ring announcer, and that's fine, because that's what I primarily went there to do. I did so much goddamn more things than just ring announcing. Jimmy Ray Show, giving a shout out to Old Man Lyndon's absolutely. Thank you for coming by. I know the Jimmy Ray Show is gonna be ongoing, and I'll probably be joining you guys here in a little while. Not right away. Not like right now. Even though I suck at this game, I actually have fun playing it. Like, isn't that the point? Or am I missing something? I'm an old head. And by old head, I mean, I'm not even afraid to tell you guys, I will be 47 years old in October. Like, I'm a fucking old head. I am old. Right? If Back to the Future were held today, instead of a guy from 1985 going back to 1955, it would be somebody in 2024 going back to 1994. I was a junior in high school in 1994. I was a junior in high school in 1994, which of course means I was a senior in 1995. 1996, I was a member of the United States Navy. 96 through 99, I was active service. 99 through 2002. That's that old head brain working there for you. 2002, I was what they call inactive reserve. Basically, they could have called me back at any time and they didn't. So, I guess they didn't need a third-class petty officer at that point. That's fine. Why? Because fuck you guys. That's why. Not you guys in chat. You guys on race. Yo, jumped all the way. That's okay. That's okay. I will finish in 7th from where I was. Enjoy your time in the spotlight. You've earned it. Thank you. Thank you. You're 40. See, the 40 and over crew. Everybody be talking about you're old. It's like, nah, we're seasoned. We're not old. We're seasoned. Like, we're still young enough to do shit, but we're old enough to know how. Actually, we're already 2 hours into stream now. I know Jimmy will stream like all goddamn day long, and then like take off for like a fucking hour, and then stream like all night long. Not quite all night, but like I can't do that. I can't do that. I am too old for that shit. I am too old for that shit, but, okay. So I gotta finish, like, in the top 5. Well, damn. Karmic retribution for me getting all the damn boxes earlier. Like, you ain't gonna get none of the fucking boxes now. Bitch. Ah, missed that one even. Bro, I've gotten no boxes. There's one. I got a box! I got a box! Shout out to $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase. I say shout out like it's, I say shout out like I've met him more than once, and like he would remember it. But I will say this though about Ted DiBiase, he is involved. He is one of the reasons, believe it or not, that I got locked into professional wrestling back in the day. See, there was this little TV show. There's this little TV show that came on once a month called Saturday Night's Main Event on NBC. And like at the time I was watching wrestling, but like I will watch it if it's on. Like I'm not going out of my way to find it, right? It's kind of like me now. I will watch it if it's on, but I'm not going out of my way to find it. And I'm not going out of my way now to continue watching it. Again, if it's on, sure. As we're about to hit noon here in California. So I guess happy afternoon, or happy soon to be afternoon to everybody out there. And if you're if you are not watching here in the States, but you are watching in another nation somewhere in the world, happy time zone to you as well. So they had a network special called The Main Event, and it was Hulk Hogan versus Andre the Giant, kind of a rematch from WrestleMania 3. Now, one thing I knew about pro wrestling was Hulk Hogan was gonna win, right? You knew no matter what happened, no matter how badly he got beaten up, you knew he would Hulk up. He would shake his head. He'd point at the guy, say, "You!" And then 2 to 3 punches, Irish whip, big boot, leg drop. You knew that was how it was going to play out. And you were okay with it because, see, the thing is with so many TV shows, you know, most of the time, you know the good guys are eventually going to win. They may not win this particular episode, but you know they're going to win. The main protagonist is going to win. You knew this. And it was kind of the same thing with Hulk Hogan. You knew Hulk was going to win. You more or less knew how he was going to win. You may not have knew how he was going to get there. Exactly. But you knew that was how it was going to end up playing out. One night, the main event. I was gonna say, why is it treating me like I'm okay? Communication error. Well, see you guys. I do have this tournament going if anybody wants to join in. If anybody has this game and you want to join in, I am running this. This is the code right here. 1-890-1713-3611. 1-890-173-3611. That is the code if you want to join in. So yes, if anybody wants to join in, I will wait here for a moment. I know not everybody immediately has their Switch right in their hand or their Pro controller if you're playing it on a dock like I am. And then even if you do, you may not necessarily have it on Mario Kart. Like, it might take a minute. I get that. So if you want to join in, let me switch banners here real quick. So, this one will 1-890-1713-3611. 1-890-1713-3611. That's if you want to join. If not, I can go back to playing randoms. That is perfectly fine with me. Matter of fact, I need to make a really, really super quick restroom break. So I will be right back. I promise. All right, we are back. We are back. We are so back. So for the moment, oh, here we go. For the moment, I'm gonna be for the moment I'm switched back over to play randoms. I'm gonna be joining the next available match, so I'm not actually gonna be playing this one. But Alessa, all right, mint, Travis, Kazekaye, player. That is my favorite player right there. Player. All right. I got to go with LA again. Los Angeles Laps. Again, Santa Monica, LA Live, downtown LA. They do have the oil fields in there, but you're not going through Inglewood. You're not going through Crenshaw. You're not going through Compton. Right, there's a huge chunk of LA that you're not going through. I understand why. I'm just saying you're not taking the 210 and getting off on Slauson Avenue. Okay, like that's an exit I've taken several times. Slauson Avenue or Florence Avenue, both. I would take Slauson and having to take down to Florence anyway. That's where Lucha Pro is located, South Central Los Angeles. So it is an area. It is an area I am quite familiar with. Hawkins House of Burgers. They're not gonna have. You're not going to buy that on here. I promise you. Some damn good burgers, by the way. I gotta get over this representation of Dodger Stadium here. Randy's Donuts. Like, I'm kind of surprised they acknowledged the oil fields. Like, people who aren't around LA wouldn't associate oil fields, you know, even though you got Union Oil, right? Middle of the pack. So yeah, we'll play a few more and then raid out to the Jimmy Ray show. Fat puta. Fat. All right, you fat bitch. Self-described. Hey, I'm you know, fat lazy bastard, bro. So I'm like, whatever. Fat puta. Wow. I'm surprised Nintendo allowed that. I'm not telling on you. I may have friends who may be, you know, spies for Nintendo. Why the fuck they ain't watching my stream? Or are they? Fat puta. Not even mad, not even sad about it. Not even, you know, no guilt whatsoever. Did I do it? Fucking right, I did it. And that's my karma for doing it right there. I got sent back. Finished in 7th. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, all of you who have come in today. Thank you for the new follows. What a shame. Yeah, that name is a shame. I've never shamed somebody for their name. What? Shout out. Oh. My bad. Well, yeah, fuck it. Shout out again to Old Man Linden, since I read it, and thank you for the follow. You had to go to work. I totally understand. And thank you for coming in. Have a great day at work. Safe trip there. Safe trip back. Low stress as possible. it is very difficult. I want to shout out my friend Rotten Poppy. I said this to her on stream yesterday. It is extremely difficult to both play a game and try to monitor and interact with chat. Not that I don't appreciate it, because I totally do. And like, again, I'm not the greatest player of this game anyway. But it is difficult. Streamers know this. Oh, shoot, there was a freaking mushroom hidden behind that coin. I don't so much give a shit about the coin, but the mushroom. Damn it, missed him again. Finished in fourth, not bad, not bad. Alright, I think I'm gonna do one more and then we're gonna stream out, raid out. But yeah, thank you everybody who's come in, all the new followers. If you're watching this later on in the day on VOD, if you're watching it on YouTube, however, whatever, why ever, absolutely appreciate you. And I appreciate that this person's name is Fat Puta. And I appreciate the fact that Nintendo let that go. That is, this person is literally calling themselves a fat bitch. It was their name. It ain't, you know. Tis what tis. But yeah, I do think this is gonna be the last one for right now. I am thinking though that I'm probably gonna try to make Saturday morning a regular thing then. Tuesday, I will still continue 6-ish p.m. Pacific. I say 6-ish because I don't necessarily start right at 6. And when I say start, I mean, I'm talking about like the stream that won't even necessarily go live right away. But I will be working on it. So 6-ish p.m. on Tuesdays. Thursdays, it just doesn't, I don't know whether it's network congestion or don't know, and I don't really care what the reason is. All I care is what the result is, and what the result is that I'm not going to be able to stream on Thursdays, or at least at Thursday nights. So what I'll do instead is Tuesdays 6-ish p.m. Saturday mornings, maybe 9 a.m. We go that way. The star had to go out right then, didn't it? Yo, finished in second. Best finish of the entire stream, right there, second place. All right. All right. Well, shout out to Fat Puta for win. All right, and that is I think that's gonna be the end of this stream. We'll be raiding out to Jimmy Ray here shortly. Thank you so much for everyone who's come in. I know a lot of you came in from Jimmy Ray's stream, so you know, like I said, just big shout outs to Jimmy Ray. Be sure to check out the Jimmy Ray Show. Follow him on Discord if you haven't already. Join the nation of Raytopia, soon to be the Empire of Raytopia. All right. So as I am getting set. Yes, I was serious about it. Yeah, I believe Jimmy is playing, was it Killer Clowns from Space? Something like that. Yeah, I believe Jimmy is playing Killer Clowns from Space. Something like that. Alright. I will begin the raid on here. And for everybody else, thank you for coming in. My name's Joseph, and we are out this bitch.